Hello people of YouTube, my name is Brad, this is my channel Anima Orange, and welcome to another Metal Earth build video. Today we're going to build a premium Metal Earth model. We have the Hogwarts in Snow. It used to be called Iconics, now it's Premium Series. Hogwarts in Snow. As you may see, I've already opened this up. I've already got started on the build. So let's go over to the table, see what this is all about, and get started. Let's open up the Hogwarts in Snow, which is somewhat surprisingly in the older style packaging. It usually has tape along the edges here, and I did not take care of that before recording. Just a second. Okay, put that away. Hogwarts Premium Series is no longer called Iconics. Older style packaging though. We have the tray with the metal sheets, and we have the instructions pocketed behind that. I hear that this is a more challenging model. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of paper for the instructions. Wow. And how many sheets do we have? I really don't know. If I said or read, I forgot. We have 1. There's a piece of tape on here, but it's no longer holding. 1, 2. Protective paper. 3 and 4. So 4 metal sheets. I'm going to put most of these back up though. Or at least to the side, and put all of them to the side. And we're going to grab out of this stack of instructions this one that says Metal Earth on the top. We're going to look at that really quickly, just in case this is your first model though. I'm already thinking that maybe this isn't a good place to start, but if you're fairly new, we'll look at the instructions briefly, go over them briefly before we build the model, just in case you're fairly new to this. We open this up, we've got this first page here, which has the Metal Earth logo, the 360 view with the QR code, the website you can go to see a finished model for reference sake. We have a line drawing of the model, Hogwarts in Snow. We have some tips and stuff over here. We have one of the metal sheets down here, like a line drawing of it. We'll talk about that in a second. Over here in the to create to the best connections, we have a sample part with the notational slots, fold lines, and tabs. Slots and tabs go together. Tabs go into slots. That's how all this is held together. It may go in the same piece. It may go in separate pieces, whatever. Fold lines are pre-scored areas where the parts fold to help them fold. Over here we have the legend, which has the E and NE. This is basically trying to tell you which way to face the part. E is whatever that's pointing at is the engraved or colored side or section, and NE is the non-engraved or colored side or section. Sometimes it's the whole side, sometimes it's just a part, but it's trying to give you an idea of which way to face the part when you're folding, shaping, and connecting. This attention point, this little hand here, usually is trying to get your attention to make sure something's lined up the right way. This piece sticking off over here attaches this piece with this sticking off in this direction and not this direction, something like that. Or it may have words, notations with it telling you what to pay attention to. And the blue circle and green triangle, which has been on these instructions since the start. Blue circle means to insert a tab in its slot folded over 90 degrees, so fold it over. And green triangle means you insert the tab and twist it 90 degrees. Twisted tabs are more secure, but the folded tabs look better. And the folded are usually on the outside, while the twisted are on the inside, and that's not always the case. And I sometimes use my own judgment. We have recommended tools over here. We'll come back to that because I have some of my own recommendations, or at least what I use. And then the metal sheets, see, we have this outline of a metal sheet, and then we have 3 more over on page 2. See, the one that I have on top here, we're going to go with that one just as an example, which seems to be sheet C. If you notice, they're all A, B, C, and D. We've got sheet C here. You'll notice this is an outline of the sheet. It shows all the parts. You'll notice it's colored, but it's not colored the same as this. The parts that are colored are duplicate parts, and they're used in more than one place. So for instance, right here, this sort of, forgive me, my coloring is not always accurate. I'm slightly off in the, I won't say colorblind, but slightly off. 50 here, which to me looks like sort of a aquamarine or a bluish green. It's the same as this part over here, which is the same color and shape. So these are both part 50, probably roof pieces, and they probably go to, there's more than one roof that's the same. So both of these are the same. We've got this gray piece here and here. They're probably numbered on another page, but they're the same. This yellow piece here and here, those are the same. You'll find that's the same with every sheet. Duplicate parts are not always on the same sheet, just so you know. But they have all the parts numbered around the edge. The fact that we have duplicate parts are colored in saves some space and makes it a little simpler in my opinion. So that's a nice little thing that they do there to help you find those duplicate parts easier. Moving on, for this, to get to the start of the assembly flowchart, we have to actually flip over to page 3. Assembly steps start here, and with the premium series, things are done in steps, in sections, organized. I mean, the flowchart pretty much runs the same as Metal Earth, but they have steps, and oftentimes the steps are called back later. Instead of labeling something, this is part A, or complete, this is assembly A and B, they do steps. So step 1, we start with part 1, which is on sheet B. Here's the part. This gray is kind of showing you the parts that are folded, with the blue lines helping to indicate how they're folded or what angles. Usually it's kind of an orangish color, but they're going with gray in this one. Actually, they switched to orange over here, down here, or reddish orange. I don't know why. Maybe the gray is because it's folded back, and I've either never noticed that before, or that's new. But anyway, this is shaped this way. There it is, completed. There's another, actually not completed, it seems to be another bit that's folded here as well. But I can't quite tell what. Maybe when I see the part I'll better understand. And then over here we have another part being connected in, which is part 2 on sheet D. Here's the part, it's folded like that, comes over here, connects with a blue circle, which means folded tab, and you end up with this. And that's the gist of it. You have little sub-assemblies like here and here, which show you how to shape or assemble subparts to add them in. But you just go across following the steps. You get to the bottom of step 1. This piece right here will probably get called back later on. But you just, for now, you go on, you set that aside, you go to step 2, you follow this, and then looks like this gets added on to step 2, but it's not really called back. Sometimes it'll say this is step 2 and you're adding this part on. Sometimes it doesn't. Step 3, just continue on, shaping parts, go to the next page. Look, here's step 3 being called back. So whatever you finished in step 3, bringing it back here to add on another section, which looks like you built right up here in step 4. And that's more or less the gist of it. You just follow through adding and shaping and combining parts. Of course, when you get to the bottom of page 4, you bring out the wad here and you find which one has 5 on it. But you're going to see we've got 8, 10, and 16. Most likely the one that has 8 is going to continue on. It's the lowest of the numbers. You open this up, you'll find page 5, continue on, and then you'll continue the next one, and once you get done at the very bottom of the last piece, you're done with your model. Let's take a moment to talk about some tools, and I've got what I consider the basic set in front of me, starting with a pair of flush clippers or side clippers. These are primarily used to cut the parts out of the sheets. You can get the parts out by folding and twisting, though you run the risk of breaking something you didn't mean to break. A good pointed set of side cutters or flush cutters, like this Play-Doh set that I've got here, work really great for quickly getting the parts out so you can get on with your build. I have, of course, a small selection of tweezers. We've got a fairly basic set. This actually came with one of the older Iconics sets, and I've been using it for quite a while. But a good sturdy, flat end tweezers can come in really handy for doing a great number of things. I also have a few pieces from a precision set of tweezers. If you need some precision tweezers, just search precision tweezers online. You'll be able to find something out there. These two are very similar They have a very fine point, though I did grind the tip of these down to help me grab tabs, and then this is just kind of a flat set for getting in tight spaces. And then we have a couple of pieces left over from the Fashionations 3-piece set. I broke the clippers long ago, so I had to replace them, but we have long nose pliers and flat nose pliers. Really handy. These are handy for bending long parts, and these are handy for bending short sections right here. But this is the basic set. We'll do a great amount of things with just this set right here. You'll be able to build a lot of different models and do a lot of different things. When it comes to shaping curved, domed, or rounded kind of parts, I like to have some sort of tool to mold things around, and I've designed some 3D printable tools for use in that. You might see me using the video. I've got some cone shaping tools. I have a little block here for rounding stuff. I have larger cone shape combo tools, and even a little tool for shaping dome shapes. However, you can just look around the house and find parts, dowel rods, pencils, beads, paint brushes, pens, things like that can also be used to shape stuff as well. As for the 3D printed parts, I do sometimes print up extras and sell them on Etsy. Or you can just get the STL files if you have a 3D printer yourself and print these out. I'll try to include links to both the STL files and the Etsy store in the description down below. For curving tiny little parts, I found a pair of round nose jewelry pliers very helpful. You'll sometimes see me shaping the edges of curved parts or circular parts with these. You can find these in your jewelry section of your local hobby store, or search for round nose pliers online or any sort of online hobby store. I also have these step mandrels that I occasionally pull out. These are something else you can find in the jewelry making section. They just have different size round bits for shaping things like tires. Stuff in the jewelry section can come in very handy for making 3D metal models. We've talked a little bit about tools. Still got the sheets stacked up neatly here. What I'm going to do is kind of organize this my way. I usually put the sheets off over to one side, the tools off over here, and start building in the middle. Some people like to clip all the parts out ahead of time. I'm not one of those. I clip out as I go, but you organize the way you want to. I'm going to organize the way that works for me, and then we'll get started with this model. I needed to slide these slots over these tabs and had the bright idea to bend the tabs out to make it easier. I didn't take into account the bit sticking up that would make that impossible.
The top of the chimney, part 4, seemed easy to shape, but it's difficult to double bend it inward to get it center. I did the best job I could. Folding part 5 felt like a bad joke. The sides resisted folding. I did my best, but honestly, folding this part was a mess. It didn't look so bad though after it was attached. Part 6, while similar to 5, was larger and not as hard to fold and shape. This part didn't bend quite evenly. I had to straighten it out a bit. Be sure to put part 8 on so that the gaps line up. Time for a spire. The spire folded so that the tab and slot were slightly off, and I had to fight with it to get them to line up enough to attach. Also, the point did not close up like I would have liked. I needed to bend the tab out to get the roof on. I tried, but didn't bend quite enough at first. Maybe I should have shaped these outer parts before attaching the roof. I had a very tough time bending the bits over. I really didn't get them right in the first part because of their size, and part because I already had the roof on. The sides may be too small. I I struggled like that with all 3 of them. I won't bore you with showing the other 2. These spires are not shaping easily. This spire is not closing up properly. I made sure to line up the arrow like the instructions say. Well, that was not curving correctly. I had tried using a taper that I 3D printed some time back, but it was not doing the job. I decided to try and do some manual shaping with needle nose pliers. There was a lot more fight to get that tab in place than I show here. I bent the slots down to make attaching things a bit easier. I don't think I approached this part quite right. I was thinking that the top part and bottom were different diameters, but in the end, I don't think that was the case, and I wasted time trying to overly shape it. Be sure to fold part 30 so that the detail is facing inward. This part goes inside what we just built. I tried to bend a sort of V into the middle of part 32, but it didn't go as planned. So many tabs. As you can see, I started by securing the tunnels, if you will. Then I went on to work on the roof sections, or work the roof sections into place. Bending over the tabs on this archway was not easy. And that's the end of part 1. We've gotten this far, so far. Don't normally do videos this way. I normally complete the entire model, then break it up. But because my time to build is so much different now, I thought I'd give this a try. It's taking me a while to get this out. But I've gotten this much done so far. As you can see, I've got some things to line up here and there. But coming along nicely. I'm having some trouble with the cone shapes. That's just me. I have difficulty with those. Taking about 2.5 hours just to get to this point, but it looks pretty cool. Of course, any questions or comment, leave them down below. I've got to get back to work on this model so I can bring you part 2. I'm not even sure how many parts there are just yet, but as always, thank you for watching. Thank you to my Patreon supporters, and as always, keep on keeping on.